All right, guys, here we go. So today we're going to be doing a wheel, like a wheel on a car. We're going to do a custom aluminum rim. Not everyone's got that, right? So you're going to be able to customize your own rim. Um, it's going to be a little bit of a stretch. You may want to watch some of this before you jump right in. So we're going to start with a new component. The name is wheel. I'm going to call it a wheel. I'm saving mine to teacher space. You'll want to save yours in your own 3D space that you created. All right, here we go. Hopefully it loads up quickly. Yeah, quickly is not happening. There we go. That's pretty quick. All right, so this is going to be a little bit like, what? But we'll figure it out as we go. Here we go. So I'm going to come down here to sketch, and I'm going to start with a line. Now, again, this tutorial is not so much about making a perfect size rim that's actually going to fit a car, although it wouldn't take many more steps to do so. All right, again, I'm going to go into view, and then I'm going to select this view selector, and I'm going to select this top piece and zoom in. Okay, back to sketch. I'm going to create this line. Now I'm going to come down and come over. And you'll see what I'm doing here in a little bit. It may make sense to you, or it may not. You may just be like, what are you doing? All right. Come out. And then click over there so I get that same height. All right, this may or may not be making sense to you, and that's okay, because it will in the end. Okay, is what I just made is this silly looking whatever this thing is. Somebody called it look like moose antlers. Heard all kinds of comments before. So this is if you would have taken a rim, a wheel, and you would have cut it whoosh, in half from top to bottom, and then cut it a half again. Whoosh. So this is a profile of that rim, and you'll see it in a minute. Okay, now I'm going to sketch one more line from here down, and now another line coming over at 90 degrees. Okay, this doesn't have to make sense to you yet. Just watch. Okay, now this line that I put here is actually, I need to change that. I'm going to go into features, and here where it has plane, I want to click on this little caret, and I'm going to go to axis, and I'm going to change this line to an axis. Line 1 is now changed to an axis, and I'm going to say OK, because I'm going to rotate this assembly around this axis. So here's where it gets really cool really quick. I'm going to come down here to revolve and click on revolve. And I'm going to change this a little bit so you can see a little better what I'm doing. And I am going to, so it says select revolve axis. So this is my axis, and I want to revolve around that. And it says select profile. You want to select this entire thing and just say, okay. And now, just as quick as a wink, I have a rim blank, a wheel blank, right? So this is where the tire would go. Now, if I was doing this for real, these would be a little taller, and I would round all these edges off. I still will. So you have a rim or a wheel blank, okay? And you can still see the axis there in the middle. That axis will still come in handy. I'm still going to use that. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into view, and I'm going to turn this thing. Here, I'll turn it sideways because I want to be looking straight on. That makes it a lot easier to draw on. Okay, so now let's say we're going to do this for what? A big F-250 truck, right? So a big truck. So they have eight lugs. So again, it wants to know first what plane, what do you want to draw on? I want to draw on this surface. And now, again, since I'm not really trying to make this perfect, I'm going to come up here and draw a circle about that big. How big is that? I don't know. I'm not worried about it at this point. It's actually all in millimeters. Over here, I didn't change that. So this is a little tiny rim, but you'll get the idea. Later, we'll worry about dimensions and getting things perfect. Okay, so now I want 8 of these, correct? Because it's going to be an 8 lug rim. I only put 1 in. I am not going to try to come down here and create 8 more of these, and they're all supposed to be the right length and the right width and the right diameter. I'm going to create 1, and then I'm going to come down here to features, and right here it says linear pattern. Well, I don't want a linear pattern. I want to click on that caret and go to circular pattern. Circular pattern. This is going to be really cool. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me back up. So now that I have this hole, let me finish this. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to go in here to features, and I have a circle, but now I want to make it a hole. So I'm going to go here to extrude cut, and it wants to go 35 millimeters, which might be right, but I'm just going to say, instead of blind, I'm just going to say through all both. That way I just make sure it's cutting way deeper than it needs to, but I just made sure it's cut all the way through. I'm going to say okay. So now I have that hole going all the way through, but let's say this one's lug centric instead of hub centric, so I need a good chamfer on this. Then I'll come right down here where it says fillet. Now, normally that's a French word and we call it fillet, but this is engineering world, we call it a fillet. But I don't want a fillet, I want a chamfer. A fillet is a nice rounded edge, a chamfer is like a 45-degree angle cut into it. So it wants to know what I want to make a fillet on, and I just want this outside circle, and I don't want the, you know what, let's do both of these. Let's do this one and that one. So I want this outside circle, and let's see, it's looking at 5.3. I'm going to change that to probably a 7 millimeter. Now I'm change it to 10. Let's say, okay, yeah, that's good. And I'll put one on this too. Why not? And I'll say, okay. So now you can see I have this nice chamfer on that edge, and that would line a lug nut up really nicely. And I got a chamfer on this edge, so that smoothed out that corner as well. Okay, now that I have that, I am going to go back here to, you guessed it, circular pattern. All right, now I don't want instance angle of 90 degrees. I want a pattern angle, and then you see it changes that to 360 degrees. And it says number of instances, I want 8 of them. So it says select the features to pattern. So the things I want to make a pattern of is the inside hole and the outside chamfer, those two. Oh, it's picking this, it's not gonna like that. But we'll see what happens. If we do, we can go back and we'll have to go back and fix that. And then it says, what do you want to select the axis for the pattern? This is what I want to go around. So we'll do that. And I think it's going to come up with an error. And this is a good one. Yeah, it come up with an error. It's like, nope, I'm not doing that. And so here's what we need to change. We need to go back to this chamfer, edit it, and let's get rid of this one because it's trying to make a pattern out of this and it won't let it, which is fine. So we'll click that, and then bam, you see instantly it puts in that pattern of 8. So pretty cool, right? They're all equally spaced, equal distance from here out, and they're equally spaced from here apart. Okay, so now that we've got that in, now we get to do the fun part. So how do we want this wheel to look? I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to come in, and once again, I'm going to go to View and change this cube. I want to be looking straight onto that face. That makes it a lot easier to draw on this. All right, so now I'm going to go back to Sketch, and I am going to draw, let's see, for which plane first. We'll choose the top plane. I'll start here. Ooh, make it straight. This will look a little clunky. I'm not really happy with that, but you know what? For time being, I'll do that. All right, so now I do this. Go into features, and this is the one you can play with. You can do it, undo it several times. I want to make a extrude cut here. Again, instead of blind, I'm just going to go through all both. That will make sure go cut all the way through. I'll say okay. So now I've made that cut. It's not symmetrical, but it's not the point at this point. Again, I'm going to go over here to my circular pattern. Features that I wish to, let's rotate, I'll click on that. I have to zoom in a little bit. There we go. I want that. Axis, remember that axis is really important. I want to rotate it around that. And that's if we want 4. I don't want 4. I'm going to go to pattern angle. I'm going to change this to, let's see, can we fit 8? Let's see if it'll fit 8. Yeah, it'll fit 8. I'm going to say okay. And now you can just see I've made me a custom aluminum rim. Now, if I would have spent probably about another 15 minutes on it, this is the cool thing. This is not just a picture of a rim. If I would have spent a few more minutes on this, I could have made, this could be the first step in a real custom aluminum rim to put on my truck, which is really neat. I've had people, instead of this type of triangle cut out, I've had people do Hello Kitty. I've had people do anything you can draw on there. And you can make your own set of custom rims for your own car. All right, that's how you make it. Just remember when you're done, click down here on Save. And it will now save that component, and this one saved it to my teacher space. And then your rim is done. All right, guys, cool stuff.